Yeah, what's up, y'all? Happy Saturday, I guess. Or whatever day it is for you. Damn, that's gotta be louder. Yeah, so what are we listening to? Seriously, one of my favorite new bands, Noxus. This is, Violence Inherent in the System. Came with that little thing too. Bunch of words on it. It says Noxus is cool. I think that's what it alludes to. Noxus is badass, and you should be listening to it. We started off on track 7. 3, 4, 5. Horns echo over Chorazim. I don't know. I think this is the horn song. They do like a guitar solo, but they make it sound like a horn. Trumpet or something. Yeah, it's not a saxophone. I think it's like a trumpet. So, again, Noxus kind of being one of my favorite new bands. I got a little insert in there. It's Path of Visceral Fears, and then the Noxus Cavern Womb split. I know I've shown this and played this several times. It is fucking amazing. And then this early one. Oh yeah, it came with a freaking poster. How awesome. Path of Visceral Fears. Amazing, amazing stuff. It's technical-ish, trippy-ish. It's ticking a lot of boxes for me. And I think with this one, put that there, Violence Inherent in the System, I think they have a lot more fun in this one. And they got their sound down, they got their formula mostly down, and they're like, yeah, this is what we want. So fucking good. So I was reading comments. Josh reminded me of this one. They listen to death metal and they're like, I like the music, but not the vocals. Like, that was always fucking funny and would piss me off back then too, because like a lot of other youngsters, I would get upset and couldn't understand why they didn't like it. For real. There's those horns I tell you about. That's wild. This is so wild that they did this. I guess they thought it sounded too generic, and they were like, it sounds too generic. Hey, let's make those guitars horns. That's insanely dissonant. That's insane. Like, it just, like a new element there that slapped you. But yeah, I didn't understand why people didn't like death metal either, Josh. You know, everybody's like, now listen to this. And then you hear what they're doing, I'm like, yeah, that's fun, but it's boring. That's always what their music was. It was either, it's like boring, non-threatening and boring. Like music slap you in the face. Music got you thinking. It got you realizing there's a lot going on here. Let's unpack this. And they're awfully energetic. That's always what I thought about metal. They're awfully excited to be doing this thing. And I got older. I realized there's a lot of things to get excited about, and a lot of things not to get excited about. Yeah, Acid Bath. You mentioned that. me and you were very familiar with acid baths just because of our region and the time we were living where we were living. Acid bath was a brand new thing to us. Yeah, there weren't a lot of people at the crowds. I know that was like, maybe 200 people. And that was, I think, only who they toured with. We'd get other people. You don't know. But then, like, by the time that second one, Pagan Terrorism Tactics, came out, that's when everybody clued in that acid bath is really good. And that's always when Kite String Pops, my copy, always kept disappearing. We'd always replace that just to have it disappear again. But then, something happened to Audie, the bass player. He died. That night, then you realize, oh, we're never going to see that band again. Yep. That was a short-lived time. If you blinked, you would have missed it. That's how fast that went by. It's only a few years, but it's amazing how fast a few years just flies right on by. I know it's cliche, but dude, when you get like 40 fucking years, it all blends together. Things matter so much when you're young because like you're experiencing it for the first time. Get older, you kind of see a lot of the same repeating habits and trends. If you learn enough about sociology, anthropology, and that kind of stuff, you realize, man, human beings have been on this up-down society for so long. Society's come out of nothing, just ruins, like a phoenix out of the ashes, only to fall due to its own inside corruption, or just giant shifts in thinking, probably because of corruption. And it kind of dips down and gets quiet, then kind of resurges somewhere, and it gets quiet again. And then there's even bigger waveforms. So you take all those and then you realize that humanity has even bigger ups and downs. It's where we get these big gaps in history. Like, really study some history from 900 to 1200. There's another gap in human history. 900 to 1200. Things got a little weird in Europe. You get a lot of myths and legends from Europe at those times. But previous to that, they were functioning pretty well, as far as we know. And they come back with these huge ships, sometimes giant architecture and shit like that. You know, I know out like Romania, Yugoslavia. It's not called that anymore. Forgive me, y'all. I keep track of what's going on over there in some of those borders. But which would have been that? And then the kingdoms that were part of Lithuania were other ones. That's like morphed into some of your Poland and Estonia. It's the other countries out there. Anyways, yeah. So like, there was these huge expanding empires, and they kind of just whip, and then it's a different one. You know, we always think like, oh, somebody got conquered. It's like, nah, sometimes it's a change in thinking. Like, especially in Europe, it was always mainly a change of thinking. Now, there was fighting, there was conquest, there was death, but it was usually changes of thinking. It wasn't like we got rid of a whole bunch of people and replaced them with a different group of people. Not really. In some cases, it's small, but it happens. You know, and that's when you get these big changes in, like, culture and then architecture. And there's some old buildings out in Europe that just, like, who built this and when? What were they on back then, and why don't we do this anymore? Got the cool Doom part of the song. This is the title track, Violence Inherent in the System, I believe. Such a crazy song. Long and complex. Long and complex, just like human history and human relationships. Long and complex. I'm just sighing because of humanity. I was told a while back, it had to be this way. It could have been done easier, it could have been done better, but this is the way things go. What's that saying? No plan survives enemy contact. We always forget that one. The best laid plans, like, you can still achieve your goal, but it's always different how you planned for it to go, how you felt it was going to go, and then kind of how it ended up. You know? It's just weird that human beings have this. This is tense and forlorn, I believe. Human beings throughout the entirety of humanity have always been led by a very small group of individuals. And you know, sometimes they don't tell you what to do. That's when societies don't work very well, is when you're being told what to do. It's better if you're suggested the options that best suit the people offering the suggestions. So you always got a guy offering you like 3 choices. He's like, you can pick from any one of these 3. It kind of limits us, you know, to an extent. And sometimes it's for the best. And sometimes that it's for the best, that greater good turns against itself. I know we always want the best for people and the best for the most amount of people, but you look at the cost. Eventually you get to a point where best intentions are causing horrible consequences. You know, we always think there should be laws to govern us, but how do you enforce laws? Now what are we doing? Now a group of us are telling another group of us what to do. It always turns out to that. I mean, we always look at our laws and like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. Yeah, but we're dealing with an ever-shifting set of rules, an ever-shifting set of circumstances, where what's okay today is not okay tomorrow. You know, what was fine 20 years ago is not fine now, and conversely, what you couldn't do 20 years ago, you can do now, but with a set of provisions. It's ever-shifting parameters. It creates discontent and discord. It's meant to do one thing and one thing only. It is meant to rile you up. Now, sometimes that can be done on accident. Unforeseen consequences of too many chefs in the kitchen. That they sometimes, their rules and laws and orders intersect and converge, and they can cause. If it happens, we have systems to deal with it, but if it happens too much, we now start looking at bigger systems being at play rather than this thing we're talking about. And we're in that right now. We're in that phase right now. I remember Josh was one of them. A few other you can comment. In the 90s, the 80s, life is just fucking different. Look at the television shows from that era. Now everything is so controlled. Everything is so contrived. Everything feels made up. Laundered and sold to you again as something new, but it's just a different version of the last thing you sold me. So, yeah. I sigh for humanity. Anyways, let's get out of that one for a second. Watching Spin and Spin and Justin talk. Interviews there with Spin and Niels. Those are awesome interviews. Oh yeah. Spin wanted to see, can we get the Tish? And then Justin had to remind him that Mortician is not allowed to play overseas anymore. Okay, somebody did something wrong. Yep, somebody did something wrong. I didn't know about this back in 2005. Will Romer physically assaulted a cab driver in Poland. And apparently Will Romer had a fucking pocket knife and a brass knuckles or some shit. He allegedly assaulted a driver with a knife and stole a taxi cab following the performance in a town. I guess they finished the show. He wanted to run off ahead or run off to do something else. On a ride in the cab, something happened. Will probably got fucking stoned or drunk and thought he was being kidnapped and freaked out. And the cab driver was like, "No, buddy, it's fine. It's totally cool." Will like, "Nah, bro, I'm out of this motherfucker. I don't know. That's what seemed like what happens. Allegedly got into a scuffle before being detained. Proceeded to gain control of the vehicle, causing a small cut to the cab driver's neck with his knife. Received 2 stitches. Ah, shut the fuck up. 2 stitches ain't shit, dude. If you ain't more than 5 stitches, I don't want to hear it. Like, seriously, 2 stitches? Like, that's baby. 3, you're like, maybe. 5 or more, alright, now you got some stitches. Now you got some stitches. I don't think I've ever had less than 3 stitches. I don't know if that's a good thing to say. I've never had less than 3 stitches. It's all 4 or more. I don't even count 4. That's like a fucking accident. Five or more shows the intent. So yeah, oh yeah, knucklers. Yes, knucklers. I guess he had some brass knuckles. So imagine Will Romer having brass knuckles and a pocket knife on him. Wouldn't doubt the pocket knife. Given that part of New York he's from, Yonkers or whatever, man, you're pretty rough out there. Brass knuckles. I've known a lot of dudes carry brass knuckles. I never learned how to use them. I know they're intimidating just to see them, but if you use knuckles wrong, it cause damage to you too. You always think the conventional method is to put them right there so they line up, and that's like the wrong. You're supposed to put them in there so you can whack with it. So you're not just assaulting them with that. I prefer pole arms and stabs. You know, sticks. Stick mocking a rapier, you know. Always preferred that. Knucklers, I mean, they fit your pocket. I guess that's why brass knuckles. People have them to fit your pocket. I don't know. To me, it's not my thing. Never wanted to carry them. I'll be God's honest with you. I've seen them for sale, been offered them. I learned how to actually stick and move. You know, I'll use those. I did learn how to use and manipulate body weights and stuff like that, so I feel like I can do more with that than I can that piece of metal that can break my hand and give me a fat fine. There's a few places where they're illegal, but I'm unfamiliar with those places, but I do know they exist. Some places just a fine. They just take it away from you. It's like, put that in a bag. Here's your ticket. Summons to the court. You go to the court. You're like, hey, that's illegal. $50 fine or whatever. Now it's like a $500 fine or whatever. They'll take you to jail. Make you bond out. Make you spend all that money too. Crooked bullshit. Well, part of that is most of those people never showed up to court. There's a lot of assholes do that. That's actually the behavior that makes a lot of systems worse. And when you don't show up to court, it's like, ugh. Just go. Just go. Yeah, but I don't want to do time. It's like, man, you've had time to think about that. Yeah. Just suck it up. You know. I had to do weeks on end and was not happy about it. Hell, I got to the point, they were like, do a week for this thing. I'm like, can I have 30 days? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, cool. Damn it. I have to plan that shit out. Let me get my bills paid. Hey, man, can you pick me up and drop me off someplace? Yeah, bro, where do you need to go? Down the street a little bit. I'll show you where. I had a friend literally drive. He's like, am I taking you to jail? And I'm like, yeah, bro. He's like, how long you doing? I was like, oh, it's just a week, homie. Don't worry about it. He was like, you probably need me to pick you up. And I was like, that'd be cool if you did. And yeah, he did. That was a cool guy right there. He's like, you want me to? I had another friend. I was like, hey, I need to give you something. You need to hang on to it while I'm in jail. And it was a she. She was like, I don't know about this. And I'm like, it's all legal. It's above board. You're not doing anything wrong. And I will compensate you financially. This is a business transaction. And it's above board. She's like, all right, fine. And I knew this girl a long time. Her family was in the military, so she was a military brat. So I knew how to, like, buy the book and stick where she was. I was like, I brought it over sheet, giant objects wrapped in a sheet. I need you to put this in your closet and keep it there for, like, I forget how long. It might have been a week, but I feel like it was longer than that. I know it was. It was like 3 months or something. Not 3 months, 3 weeks. I thought it was going to be a full month, but it ended up being 3 weeks. And I was like, put this in your closet. Do not look at it. Do not peek at it. Do not touch it. Just know that it's in there and just keep it safe. And she was like, it's a bunch of guns, isn't it? I was like, you're damn right it is. I got to go do some time, and I want these to be safe because, you know, I just didn't want to leave them, you know, in an apartment by myself without nobody there, so. But again, my guns are all legal. You know, just over the counter, man. Go to the freaking counter and been like, I'm looking for this. I want to be able to do these things with a gun. And they're like, here's what you want. And I'm like, and here's your choices. I pick out my choices. Give them an idea, do background check, pay some fucking money to get that done, fill out some paperwork. Real simple. ATF sucks because that paperwork is so weird sometimes. But I get it. I'm not knocking the process, but I think the ATF is weird about what they consider a firearm and what they don't. Well, anyways, we hit 20 minutes. Talked about some shit. Y'all checked out motherfucking Noxus. Violence inherent in the system. You listen to the back half anyways. Do yourself a favor, Noxus. It's so fucking cool. Fucking love it. Alright, y'all. Counter Pride. We'll see y'all next time.